Today, we want to share with you a number of new housing policy changes, incentives, and programs in 2025 that you can take advantage of. If you're planning on tackling a new max suite or infill development project, you don't want to miss this information. So let's get into it. Thanks for watching. This is Andy from Suite Additions. If you're new here, we're an architectural design company helping homeowners and investors legally convert their homes to multiple units, boosting cash flow and increasing house value. If you're interested in finding out more, check us out at suiteadditions.com. And we also have a VIP investor community and training program. If you're interested in that, please check it out in the description below. As always, it would really help us out if you could give us a like and subscribe to this channel so that we can continue to put more information out and get this message out to more people. Thanks very much. Okay, so we're several weeks into 2025 and we think it's a good time for us to outline a lot of the new policy and incentives that are available that we think is going to drive the market in 2025 and beyond. Now, these new programs and policies, we feel it's going to really help increase the supply of new housing units. It's going to continue to push demand for single family homes as we've described in a previous video. And ultimately, it's going to benefit those who are willing to go through the process of development. And of course, at the end of the day, it's going to provide users with more options for housing as well, which is a good thing. Now, before we get into it, there's a slight caveat, which is that a lot of these programs are at the federal level and there's question marks as to whether or not some of these are going to go through, right? Now, some of the funding has already been earmarked for these programs, while others, it's not so clear. So we're gonna have to pay close attention in the coming weeks and months to see if these programs do come to fruition. But I will outline them here because of the announcements that we've heard in the past several months so that we're aware of it. And then we're just gonna pay close attention to see if these are going to be followed through on. All right, so with that out of the way, let's actually get into it. Okay, so the first one, this one is the insured mortgage cap of 1.5 million. So this already went into effect on December the 15th. And so this increases the insured mortgage cap for CMHC-backed loans from 1 million to 1.5 million, okay? And so this is for first-time home buyers to be able to make a purchase with 5% down on the first 500,000, and then the remaining amount from 500,000 up to 1.5 million. The requirement is 10% down, and the remainder is going to be mortgage backed. So this is for up to a 30-year amortization. Okay, so that's already taken into effect as of December 15th. So for those of you who are first-time home buyers, you can speak to your mortgage broker. You can potentially take advantage of this insured mortgage cap increase of 1.5 million. The next item is the Canada secondary suite policy. This was actually announced early in 2024 and the launch is supposedly in early 2025. Originally, it was a $40,000 amount, also backed by the CMHC. So this is now doubled to $80,000, and this is a 15-year term at a 2% loan, again up to $80,000. Now, of course, we know that $80,000 is nowhere near enough for any sort of additional suite. However, it's really just about helping to reduce some of the costs, right? So maybe that's going to cover 50% of the cost for an additional suite. At 2% loan, it definitely makes sense to take advantage of this if you're able to access this loan. So the next one, the mortgage insurance rule changes for additional suites. This is kind of the big one that was announced back in October. Supposedly it went into effect on January 15th. I still can't get any detailed information about this. So some mortgage brokers may have, or some lenders may have more information. We're gonna see what this is going to look like. So this was announced again back in October for up to 90% loan to value, up to $2 million, including the cost for additional suites. Now, this is for existing properties only. This is not for new acquisitions. This is if you already own the property, to be able to refinance up to $2 million at a 90% loan to value. And it's also a 30-year amortization. And I believe it's also CMHC backed. Okay, so if you're able to qualify for this and you can prove that you're going to be building additional suites, this is something that could work very well. Again, there's not a lot of details right now on this. So again, something to pay close attention to see if this program will actually come into effect. So next item at the federal level is the housing design catalog. This was announced at the end of 2023 and apparently it's been delayed, but the goal is to have this catalog available in April of this year. And we're hoping that this is going to provide a lot of plans, pre-approved plans for new build multi-units as well as for detached garden suites that's going to speed up the design and permit process and potentially save homeowners and investors a lot of money by not having to hire a designer to actually get the design done. So if that does come through, I think that's going to be a huge thing to really speed up the process of getting a building permit. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears, move away from some of the federal programs which are a little bit unclear. We're going to talk about the programs from the municipal levels. Now, before we get into any specific municipalities, let's talk about some general policy changes that some housing and planning committees have already implemented or plan to implement this coming year. Now, we know that from the provincial level, Bill 23 is mandating at least 3 units per single family lot, but a lot of municipalities have gone above and beyond to permit 4 units or higher. As we know, the multiplex policy in Toronto allowing 4 units plus a detached unit for 5 units in total. There's a number of other cities that have already implemented 4-unit policy or plan to do this year. So just to name a few, we have City of Kitchener, we have Waterloo, Guelph, Mississauga, and even Oakville. All right, so what I would recommend is for you to contact the municipality that you're working with to find out, maybe go on their website or give them a call to see if they already have these policies in place or if they plan to have some public meetings this coming year to make those changes. So we think this is definitely going to happen for many places, and some cities even allow 2 units in the garden suites, which I've been talking about for a very long time, that's very important to bring the cost per square footage down to make it more feasible to actually build a new detached structure. Okay, so this is just to give you some information that many municipalities have gone above and beyond, so you should find out more information for your particular city. Okay, so the next item is specific to the City of Toronto, which is very interesting. Now, we know that Toronto's been very progressive in the past several years with the laneway suite policy, with the garden suite policy, the multiplex conversion policy, and then this year is the major streets policy. Okay, so this is existing high density areas that have easy access to transit, have wider roads that is going to be more conducive to high density. And this policy is going to allow people to build up to 60 units as of right. Now, we know that most single family lots are not going to be able to fit 60 units. So this is more for larger development projects where the developer may be assembling lots to build this. So if this is something that you're interested in, you can certainly look into it. A lot of you who are watching are doing smaller stuff, myself included, where we're really only doing, 4 units plus garden suites, or potentially, up to 10 units would be potentially the maximum. Now, we feel that 10 units is actually a very good sweet spot because under Bill 23, 10 units and under does not require a site plan approval, which really saves a lot of time because it eliminates a lot of the departments that are going to be involved in the process of the building permit approval. So if you are doing 10 units and under, you can pretty much, as long as you're able to comply with all the bylaws, go straight to building permit to build this building. Of course, you're not exempt from development charges. You're definitely going to still have to pay those, but depending on the location and potential value or the rent that you're going to be able to acquire for this property, that can still be worth it, right? So obviously you have to run your financial performance to make sure that works. But the major street policies is something that is very interesting for many developers that want to go slightly larger scale. Now, the other interesting thing is that there's going to be a lot more lenders in the space of multi-unit conversions. Over the years, we've had a lot of private lending options and local credit unions that have been involved. Going forward, I think there's going to be more private lending for these types of projects because they do recognize that it does make a lot of sense. The value is there, the cash flow is there for these types of housing units. So there's going to be more. Now, even we believe the big banks are going to be getting into it. Royal Bank recently put out an article indicating that they would be financing additional suites as well. So we're going to see a lot more financing options that are going to be available, and that's really going to drive these types of housing options. Now, the one key thing that you have to be aware of when it comes to lenders that are going to be providing the financing for the construction of these units, they want to make sure that you know what you're doing. And if you're an investor or developer who does not have experience constructing constructing, they want to make sure that you hire somebody who does, right? So you want to make sure that you hire someone who's Terrion approved as well as licensed under the HCRA, right? So that's going to be very important because they want to mitigate risk as much as possible. So they don't want, homeowners or small investors to be GCing these projects, okay? Keep that in mind. All right, so that covers the new programs that we have discussed. Obviously, if there's any additional programs, we're going to let you guys know about them. There were already some programs and policies that are already in place that is going to continue to help accelerate housing in 2025 and can help you with your projects. Of course, Bill 23 allowing a minimum of 3 units with development charge exemptions. We do have the multiplex policy in Toronto allowing 4 units plus garden suite, and there's exemptions for the 4 units and then also the deferral of the development charges for the garden suite. Of course, we have the MLI Select program. This is for developers who are doing 5 units or higher. This is based on a point system for accessibility and energy efficient design. And so the better you can achieve in terms of that point system, the better rate that you're going to get. This is also CMHC backed, and also you're going to get an extended amortization period, right? So a lot of people are taking advantage of that MLI Select program, okay? So these ones are already in place, but you can certainly take advantage of them along with some of the new policy and changes that are going to be coming this year, okay? So hopefully that was helpful. By the way, if you're interested in learning about how to find the ideal property to implement some of these new incentives and programs, we created a video a while ago about finding the right property based on 3 very important location dynamics. So we think that overall the markets, especially on the single family home side, is going to continue to be in high demand. But if you want to insulate yourselves a little bit further from market downturns, we think that finding the right location for your property is going to be key. So you can check out that video right here to hopefully give you a slight advantage. All right, so let me know if you're planning to capitalize on one or more of these new policies. Best of luck in 2025, and thanks again for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. To learn more about the Max Suite strategy, download our free guides at suiteeditions.com and get started. And if you enjoyed this video, here's another great one for you.